Good morning, good morning, good morning, good morning. Oh man, the sun is out. The sun's outside and it looks good. Actually, the weekend here was pretty good. We didn't get um, the rain, thank God. In fact, we made history here in Pensacola in that the SpaceX, dropped down here, the capsule. So, with the two astronauts in it. So, I thought that was a great thing. And ironically enough, I came back late from delivering some books, so I missed the occasion on TV, but I did watch it later on. I've always been intrigued. No, I'm not interested in going. No, I don't want to go there, but I do want to know that things are happening. That make us more progressive. Good morning, Joan. Make us progressive in terms of being a part of what's next in the world. What else do we have to be taught, to learn, to get excited about? Because I personally feel that the world is meant to be explored. And so we have to find out, like it's to me so interesting to know people, to know cultures, to know, actually different parts of the world in terms of land, terrain, all of that kind of stuff. Just has always given me intrigue. And so when I was overseas with my husband, we were stationed in Italy. Every time there was an opportunity to travel someplace, I took it. After the baby came, no, but prior to that, I was able to travel, and so to me, I thought it was just pure robbery to be in a position to go and not go, to do and not do. In fact, that's today's discussion. Do. What do you have on your plate? What do you have in your desire? What do you have in your want, in your need, in your aspirations? What do? And it's such a simple word. It's like last week I did if. And when I think about, sometimes the little words are impactful. There's a lot of stuff in them, a lot of what I call flavor, texture, just effervescence. Something's in them. There's something else to do. Good morning, Verla. I'm hoping you're still gonna stay a minute. Just stay a minute. But I'm doing well. Good to see you in the space. Good morning, Sean. My nephew up in Atlanta got to speak with you yesterday. That was good. Good morning, Lewis. Whoever comes into the space, if you stay, I love it. Even if you're passing through, I still love that. Because sometimes I pass and say, next time I'll stay longer. That's the way it goes. That's the way it goes. But today we're going to talk about do. Do something for yourself, do something for someone else, but do. And to me, as I said, good morning, Cliff, do is difficult because some people have a lot of trouble with do. They do more for others and they never do for themselves, or they do for themselves and never do for others. I'm saying sometimes we need a balance. Sometimes the goodness of the heart can be risen to a point where you're excited about what you are doing because it's not just about you or it's not just about someone else. It's like a combination of the two, and that's what I feel is exciting. When you can get a combination of I'm doing for this person, but I'm also doing for myself, then to me that's exciting. And I remember Joan and her husband Jim have always done for people. And like them, like myself, have always had this thing for people much older than myself. And I think her name was Miss Stewart. Put it in there if her name was Miss Stewart. I thought her name was Miss Stewart. But I've had Mrs. Williams, I've had Mrs. Fredonia, Miss Evelyn. I just seem to find these women that were inspirational to me personally. There was just something about their story, something about how they walked or how they carried themselves. And Miss Fredonia in particular, she could never say my name. So she called me Miss Benborn, and I would always say, yes, ma'am, that's me. I am Miss Benborn. And she was at our church, and she had, for years and years and years of working as a domestic worker she always had a back issue, so she leaned over forward a lot, and eventually she was pretty far over when she walked. But you never knew it. Her spirit was there, and I would sit down and talk with her and just have such an opportunity to just be excited to hear I was right. Yes, yes. And her name was Miss Stewart. Thanks, Joan, for that. But I would always be excited about seeing these women. Miss Evelyn right now is been sick, and so I've been praying for her. And that's my buddy, because she was the sweet potato pie lady, and I would always tell her, Miss Murray, her last name is Murray. I said, "You gonna give me that sweet potato pie recipe?" She said, I love you, but I ain't giving you that recipe. Well, I don't have the recipe. But my mother was a pretty good sweet potato pie maker, so I could do it probably if I wanted to. But once again, there's that do. But that's not on my do list, because I know the consequences of eating too much pie. I don't want to gain any weight, so I'm gonna every once in a while find somebody's pie that I like well enough to get a little slice, and then I'm done with it. But Miss Murray used to make pies. I used to have pies in my freezer, and I'd pull out a pie and they said, "Who ate that pie?" I didn't lie. I said it wasn't me. It was Mrs. Murray. But every once in a while, I feel that you're given these gifts, these opportunities to do something for somebody else, as well as doing something for yourself. Because sometimes when you've done something for someone else, you feel good. It makes you feel good. But I'm going to start out this morning with, are you stuck? Yes. Periodically, you are going to be stuck. We all will be stuck. We're going to be stuck on so many things. So many things. It may be stuck. I have a friend that every time she gets something sweet, she'll say, "Girl, that cake was in there calling out my name," or that pie, child, that pie was just saying, "Come get me. You need a slice right now." So sometimes we never know how, something, we might be inspired to go do something that we really don't need to do, but we're going to do it anyway. So I say good morning, and we're going to be stuck, but we're going to talk about do today. Do for yourself and do for someone else. So anyway, let me put on my glasses. I'm going to look intelligent for about 5 seconds. Good morning, Deborah. But anyway, to do. Now, this is, I thought I would address this. Listening to the stories the elderlies tell is priceless. You're right about it. I love listening to people that have stories to tell. And, they might be a part of it, and they might not, but they can tell you what they've seen and what has happened to them. And this is what I call a little section for the book in you. Every day I'm trying to, encourage you, to write something down, because I feel that that's the makings of a book. You just keep writing something down, answering questions for yourself, all those kinds of things. And ultimately, I'm thinking that you have a book in you. And as my girlfriend, good morning, Maurice, as my girlfriend, Lavender Shedrick Williams, who owns and operates as the editor-in-chief, is Candy Publishing. And she's published a few books, and she said, never die with a book on you. And I truly believe that. So here's part of my way of just giving you something. I'm planting a seed. It doesn't mean that this is your seed. It just says this is one of the to-dos that you may have to do, or may have a desire and just never have really filled it in. But anyway, this is called For the Book in You, and says it's by Writer Waiting. It says, "Oh, this shiny new computer. There just isn't nothing cuter. It knows everything the world ever knew. And with the great computer, I don't need no writing tutor, 'cause there ain't a single thing that it can't do. It can sort and it can spell. It can punctuate as well. It can find and file and underline and type. It can edit and select. It can copy and correct. So I'll have a whole book written by tonight, just as soon as I can think of what to write." Now, a reason I like this, and this is by Silverstein. He's pretty famous. I used to get his books for my daughter when she was little because he always talked about the upside walk and all these kinds of things. It really talked about things that really are, if you think about them, there's some humor in them, but there's also some serious, understanding that if you go that way, it may be a good way for you to go. So this was the one on the book, and I thought I would just, because I'm always telling you, write that down, hold that back, put that around for maybe your later use. But anyway, we're going to go on to our word for today. Our word for today is do. And I know you probably said, why the heck would she select do? Because do is a good thing. To do not just for yourself, but to do to others is good. It's good. It's worthy to me. And to do is to perform. It's an action, the precise nature of which it is often unspecified, meaning you just know you want to do something, or you know you're going to do something, and you set it in motion, and then you set out to do it. But a lot of people put things on their to-do, and they never get done. So this is do, meaning specified, meaning identified, meaning you're going to carry it out. It says you're going to perform it. You're going to implement it. You're going to engineer it, to pull it off, to achieve, to complete, to effectuate, to effect, to finish, to commute, to accomplish, and to perpetuate. All those things speak to what do does. But a lot of times we will not stay on do. We go to later. We have do, we think about it, but then we put a later after it. So we never get back around to doing. And what I'm saying is that do is important. Good morning, T. So to do something is to not only say that it makes sense to do it, but you're convicted to it. You're convinced that that's the important thing to do, for you to do. You're not even asking anyone else to do it. Because to me, even when you ask people, you still have to wait and see if their do meets with you wanting them to do. They may say, no, I have something else. Can't do it. Good morning, Ashley. So to do in this instance talks about all those things. Carry it out, get it done, complete it, finish it, move on to something else. But a lot of times we get stuck on our do's, or we don't even identify the do's. So when we start first with the D of do is to make a decision. Make sense? To make a decision. And a decision is it's a conclusion, or it's a remedy reached after consideration, meaning you've considered it. You've considered what you need to do, and you decide you're going to stand on it. You're going to pull it off. You're going to carry it out and get it done. So it talks about the resolution of something, the conclusion of something, the settlement of something. Good morning, Lynn. It talks about the commitment, meaning you've committed to do something and you're going to do it. It's not as if you committed to it. And sometimes we do that. We will commit to something and, we'll have to commit again. Good morning, Lawson. My nephew in New York will commit and we'll commit. And guess what? We will never get around to doing it. It just doesn't happen. So the decision really talks about you've made a choice to get something done. You're going to do it. And you know what? To me, when you're looking at doing something and you're going to do it, that means you set a time, you've set a place, you set the actions in order. You've identified how it must be carried out. But sometimes we can't even get to the point of understanding what our do is. We know what we need to do, but we don't know how to do it. So therefore, that gets us stuck. And that's what my whole sessions are all about. I'm stuck because I don't know how to do it. You know what? Well, let me say this. You can fall uphill. And to fall uphill means you make your way through it. You worry about it. Procrastination, absolutely. Procrastination will hold us back. We'll always say we're going to do something and never get around to it. We'll never get around to it. So it ends up being just what I call trouble. Oh, and this is real big print. Lynn, this is real big print, so I don't need it. It actually makes it look like it's this big. But anyway, I only need it when I'm reading the smaller letters. But anyway, we talk about a decision. When a decision is made, that means you've made a choice. You've considered it greatly. You've made the conclusion that it will be done, and you've determined what a remedy will be to get it done. But sometimes we don't do that. We never get around to we might start with I gotta do, but we never get to doing it. And so that's what I'm talking about. Get off of standing still. Get off of being stuck on your dues. Get your dues done. Okay? And you'll feel better. You'll feel better. Whenever I accomplish something that I set out to do, I give myself a pat on the back. I really do. It used to be that I had to have something sweet, or I had to have, mac and cheese and fried chicken. Stop doing that. I don't do that anymore. Now I'm just excited about the fact, because I'm getting older, that I finished something. And I remembered to finish it, okay? I remembered to finish it. Okay, the next thing is order. And the order that's the O of do. You cannot make a decision and not put it into action unless you put some legs on it. You have to give it order. First of all, you have to prioritize it. Secondly, you have to determine the route you're going to take to get it done. Is it just me that's doing this, or do I need other people to help? And if I do, how do I, secure their assistance? How do I get this going? Does it cost money? Is it that it's going to take me an hour, or it's going to take me 10 days? What is it? Is it a project? Is it, because sometimes we don't even know how big something could be until we get into it. And then that's when you have to break it down. To me, that's when you have to talk about, okay, I'm going to do this in shifts. I'm not going to get so tied up in it that I end up losing track or losing confidence. Okay? Because sometimes to-dos are big. They're huge. To say you're going to do a book, it's a huge project. I'll tell you right now. I already know. I went crazy someplace between start and finish, but I did finish. Marie says, for some people, they'll do when they want to do rather than when it needs to be done. Amen. Amen. Now, we already know that there are many of us who, when we're given deadlines by others, deadlines tick us off and we don't make them. Except bill payments. We generally would do that. Good morning, Ro. But if it's something that we want to do, we'll do it on time if we want to do it. But if we don't, we'll do it when we think it should be done. And sometimes there's a consequence of that. There might be a penalty, more money being charged on you, or time being taken away, or your reputation, Because let's face it, now in this day and age, people can put out something nasty on you, even if you don't deserve it, okay? So that's just the way life is. That's the way life is. So I try to stay in the lines as long as I can and as much as I can. But when I know I've been, out configured, outnumbered, outthought, or somebody takes their own route, even though they said I was in charge, I'm okay with that, because it is the way. That was the order. So I as they say, I take my punishment. So anyway, to look at something being ordered, it's the arrangement of something. It's the disposition. It's in its placement of people or things in order. There's an arrangement to it. It says there's an arrangement. There's a disposition. You might be putting it in various categories. You might have to realize how it has to be set up or lined up. Even I remember they said one of the things they always used to say is some of the best information we ever learned in life, we learned it in kindergarten. How to line up, how to put our hand up, how to wait our turn. All those things are in order. And they're in order for a reason, so we can get through the lesson, so we can get through the day, so we can say we completed some things. Because, a teacher is basically evaluated on how much she's able to teach and if she's met her objectives in terms of her students for the day. Whatever was supposed to be learned, was it taught? And then did they learn it? So there you go. It says once a decision is made, good or bad, we have to live with it. Absolutely. We have to. It's our decision. We made a decision, and no matter what order it takes after we made a decision, that it's the order it's going to occur. It is. So anyway, so we look at the arrangement, the disposition, the category, how to categorize it, how to line it up, how to lay it out. All those things set us right on what we do, what we complete, how we complete it, when we complete it, who we complete it for. Because sometimes you can get an attitude with people. Good morning, Janice. You can get an attitude with people, and because the way they ask you, you never get around to completing anything they wanted done. And sometimes we do have to swallow things. We do have to swallow pride, or we have to swallow anxiety, or swallow frustration, only to get through the task of getting to the point where we do something. We've completed something. We can look at something and say, look, it's done. I feel good about that. Even if it's not, sometimes we don't do our best work under pressure. Sometimes we do. Sometimes some people, they don't do their best work until they're under pressure. It has to be at the last minute. Now, I got to tell you, when I was in college, I tried every once in a while to hang with everybody during the day and then try to stay up all night and do a paper. Well, I got to first tell you that starting out, I wasn't the best paper writer. I really wasn't, because I didn't understand the logic and the theory and the requirements of a good paper. First of all, I had to have a good subject, and then the subject has to be researched. And then I would act like I had written everything, and so there was a point of plagiarism in there because I wouldn't give credit. I didn't know that when I first started out, but guess what? I know it now. You would never hear me speak about anybody that wrote something that is their intellectual property, and I've assumed it as mine. I will not. And I hope when people are quoting me, they will certainly say according to, Winborn, 19 whatever, said this. That's the way it's supposed to be. It says, your priority is not my priority. I'm just saying. And that's true. That's absolutely true. There was like a saying that always used to be in the government offices. It's like, don't make, I can't even remember it now, but it's like, don't make your rush on being late be my rush on being on time for your lateness. It was something that all wound up. It basically was saying the same thing. Don't come to me at the last minute when you were already behind before you came to me. Now you're putting it on me as if I'm the one that caused you to be late in the first place. Didn't happen. And sometimes we have to do that. We have to get people situated, to let them know, hey, look, I'm going to help you out, but, don't put it on me that, you just gave me this, and you've been sitting on it a long time, and it's due when? Tomorrow? You might have a problem. Sometimes you do have to speak now. You do have to speak up for yourself, But when you're doing things, let it be your due. Let it be that when you're going to do it, how you're going to do it. You've made a decision, and then you've arranged how it needs to be carried out. And a lot of times we're faced with stuff, and because we don't know how we're going to carry it out, we can't make a decision. Sometimes making this decision and then sitting down and what I call marinate in the decision. Okay, so how will I go about doing this? What plans will I make? How much do I need in terms of time? How much do I need in terms of money? Do I need other people working with me? And if you don't figure those things out, it makes the do difficult to get done. It just does. It just does. So anyway, here's our questions for today. I kind of love these short words every now and then. Now, I do have some long ones, but I don't, because this is your volunteering time with me. I don't want to volunteer taking up your time. So that's why I stopped trying to do words that were, 8 letters and all of that. Now, I have some, and I'll come back and do them if I feel that you all would want to stay around for them. But I love it when you all come. I love it when you scroll and you stop and then you stay. And then when you share it, I love that too. And we're just going to keep doing this as long as you want to hear some of the things that just years of living have taught me. It's just something I've always done. I've always been a trainer, and I just felt that I was just sitting home doing nothing that could help other people that are in the same situation. So here we go. Here's our questions for today. First question. I hope you got a pencil and paper to write it down. Question number 1. What will you do today that meets or starts meeting a goal, a wish, a desire, or something on your to-do list? What will you do today? Now notice, I'm not saying tomorrow. I'm not saying next week, next month, next year. Okay? What will you do today? Because a lot of times that's why we never get anything done, because we keep putting it off. We are procrastinators. We're procrastinators by nature. By nature. It says, what will you do today that meets or starts meeting a goal, a wish, a desire, or something on your to-do list? Question number 2. What major decision do you need to make right now? What major decision? And when I say major, it's like, do you feel that you need to take care of a medical issue that's come up and you haven't gone because of COVID-19? That's major. Go take care of it. Okay. Are you behind on say a loan and you need to take care of it today, to discuss it with somebody? Everybody knows that this pandemic has caused, an unsettling and an unprepared for place for so many of us. And so money may be an issue. So do you have to find the source and get it discussed? What is that major decision? And sometimes major decisions cause us great stress. We give ourselves a lot of ulcers over making a decision. And then once the decision we've made and it's over and it's been completed, a lot of times what will happen is that you will already been delivered from it and didn't even know it. You had already been, something had already been in the works, that it wasn't as bad as you anticipated. Because sometimes we can dress stuff up and make it worse than what it is. We can just do it. We can do it. Number 3, it says, how will you arrange the order of your do or your to-do decision? How will you arrange the order of it? Such as, I'm going to sit down and write out what it is that I need to make it work. If it's money that's required, how much money do I have to throw at this? If it's that I have to, be in Tallahassee to work with the department, or can I do it virtually? Figuring out stuff. Sometimes, and I know as an entrepreneur, you do have to deal with those offices in Tallahassee. But I've learned to deal with them. In fact, they sometimes answer the phone. You may have a long wait, but do you have that kind of stuff to do? But whatever you have to do, if it's a major decision, you need to sit down and really put some time into putting some order to it. And how would you do that? When would you do it? Now, I want you to do all this today, but tonight, before 24 hours? Anyway, I just say get it done. It says getting rid of some collectibles and other stuff. Me too. I've been doing that. I really have. I've been trying to get rid of stuff because I think the older you get and the more settled you are in your place, that you've probably, earned things from other family members or, just inherited stuff. People give you stuff, and I've been really concentrating on throwing out things and taking things to Goodwill or a few of the shelters around. I've been giving to them too. So, and those kind of things make me feel good, but more so I love it when they are appreciative and just needing it, and that's my wish, is that it's needed and they use it. But those are the things that I had on my list today. To-dos. What are your to-dos? When will you do them? How will you do them? Who's involved in it? If it's just you, it's easy. But if it's somebody else, you know, you have to figure out where they're going to work with you, you know. But I'm excited about what it is that you can do, and I believe that that if somebody sometimes just pushes, prods our attention to what we need to do, it will get us refocused. So I'm hoping somebody that's heard me today will just say, you know what, I'm going to work on this. I've been putting it off a long time. I need to really work on it. I need to, even if you only get an hour in, get an hour in. If you get 30 minutes, that's 30 minutes that you weren't doing, you know. But do something. Do something for you. Do something for somebody else. And if you has to be dealt with first, then do you first. And then work on somebody else. I want you to have a great day. I hope you do all you can do. I love you. I appreciate you for coming into this little space with me on Monday through Friday. Please share. Please, come back again tomorrow. I'll have something else for you. And I'll try not to keep you as long. Sometimes I go to 45 minutes, and I apologize for those days, but that means it got good to me and I just went crazy. But anyway, hope to see you tomorrow. Have a wonderful day. Thank you. Love you. Bye-bye.